think that she said that she felt entitled to cheat simply because she was paying all the bills, but
And
Melanie's
this is
right.
what I'm saying. A lot of people will use like certain parts of articles and then have clickbait. And then people run off with these ideas. The clickbait title of a lot of the articles on like the Shade Room or on the Melanin Shade Room on whatever. And then they take the clickbait article title as what
Right.
this person actually said. Then when you read what the actual person said, you're like, wait a second. They didn't say that. That's not what
So
they
then,
said.
Melanie, what is your take on what is being
Right.
said right here? Because I'm highly confused at why two people who are multimillionaires are concerned about whether they can pay bills or not because one movie didn't take.
Well, I don't think that's what she was saying in that interview either. I think in general what she was basically speaking on is that she kind of always feels anxious about making sure that she's able to make enough money to like upkeep her lifestyle because she works in a career that is like not stable, right? She's an actress. So basically every single check that she has, if it's not coming from endorsements or any other business deals that she has, is coming from a film. So that anxiety, she was talking about feeling anxious that like, oh my God, like what if this film doesn't go? What if this film doesn't do well? I'm not going to be able to like keep up with my finances if this film doesn't do well, being as though when you do that film, you don't know when you don't know when the next film is. I'm an actress, so I understand that, right? I'm a dancer and an actress, so I understand that anxiety of I make enough money right now to have this type of lifestyle. If I don't get these jobs in order, then I might have to suffer and like downgrade my lifestyle. And so and so that's why she was talking about speaking like, oh well, I need to learn to not live from my anxiety and my scarcity mindset because that money's gonna be there, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. And that's when she spoke about her relationship and how in the household is 50-50. And if you have two multimillionaires, of course, like I mean, I don't think, and I also don't think like, and I'm not in a business. I don't think it's they sitting there like calculating like where's your 50%, where's your 50%. I very much doubt that that is the case. From my experience, a lot of married people and a lot of married people with money, what they will do is usually whoever is the breadwinner covers whatever the percentages that they make more of. Like, so if one is making 40 million and one is making 50 million, usually what happens is like the person who's making the 50 million is going to cover 60% of the bills. Or sometimes it'll be like, all right, well, cover this bill, I'll cover that bill. And I don't think that they're sitting there like give me your 50% of the rent, bitch. Like, it's obviously not like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, we all grown folk. We all, I'm sure, have done some type of 50-50 or split in relationships. It's unrealistic to think that in the society that we live in today that we're not going to be splitting some to some degree with our significant other. And to find that rich people are doing the same thing is mind-boggling to people. I think that's kind of weird. Like, like take their salaries and bring it to our level, right? Like, so like let's say I think she makes 70 million and he makes like 175 million. Let's say I make 70,000 and my husband makes 170,000, but our mortgage is whatever the fucking amount is. I'm not gonna sit here and think that he's just gonna pay all of the fucking bills, right? Like, I'm sure we're gonna split some type of bills, whether those are the day-to-day expenses, whether they're the utility bills, whether it's the mortgage payment, whether it's the taxes on the house, whether it's the upkeep of the house, whether it's the nanny. You get what I'm saying? So I think in general, like, people are like pushing these ideas they have about traditional norms and how like this is how it's supposed to be, and I can't believe she doing this, and I can't, and it's nobody's business, first of all. But second of all, like, these are people who make money. And these are people who both make money. They don't, and we all know that Gabrielle Union and Dwyane Wade are not in a traditional home. Like, they you could tell that they're not traditional folk. So how this is coming as a surprise to people is kind of wild to me. It's like,
Yeah, they were
this
for
is
sure.
this is a couple that has a whole trans child out. Like, and if they split in things fifty
I would
fifty, I'm sure the 50-50 for them is more about like, sometimes the 50-50 might be 60-20, the 60-40. Sometimes the 50-50 might be 80-20. I very much doubt that they sit in here talking about 50-50 for everything. I think what she meant is that it's balanced in their home, the finances, they balance out the finances and they balance out the duties in their home. And I think that's what she meant by 50-50. I don't think she literally meant like splitting shit down the middle. Like, let's keep it all the way a buck. Who does that? Nobody does that.
Shit, people,
So I am somebody who contributes to the bills in my household. But apparently that's not the norm on this
I
on
think that is the norm. I think that is the norm.
I you know what? I tell people that and I get dragged all the time.
And I don't understand how
Apparently
people like we live in like look at how much it takes for you to survive in this country. Now think about and you I'm sure you have a are you a mother? Do you have children?
you know what, I had this conversation and they told me like that it's my fault and that if I can't survive off of one income, then I'm doing something wrong. So like there's
What country
apparently
you live
everybody
in?
on this TikTok makes six figures, owns their own businesses, and is doing quite well for themselves. So
Exactly. But also, even somebody in the comments said, oh, 50-50 down the middle of the bills. That's what she said. No, that is not what she said. I watched the interview. Her literal quote was, in my home, we do things 50-50. Literally is what she said. That 50-50 could mean literally that they just share everything in the home. They share the finances in the home. Y'all don't know what that 50-50 looks like. Just like relationships are 50-50, when relationships aren't ever 50-50. Because if I'm sick, I can't go 50, right? I might have to go 10 and you're gonna have to go 90. You know what I mean? And that's what real partnership is about. And I think that's what she was talking about in terms of like going 50-50, that her and the Dwayne Wade are in a partnership. They are going half and half,
right.
whatever the half and
Like
half looks like.
I don't go 50-50, but I contribute to the bills in my home. Like so yeah, there's that. But just saying that you contribute to the bills in your home, apparently men are supposed to make enough money to pay for all the bills. And if
That's
you
but
don't, then
unrealistic.
apparently you're
I
not a
only see
man.
That's
one
so
group. I only see
unrealistic.
one group of women pushing that narrative. Though I only see one group of women pushing that narrative. I'm not gonna say what group of women, but it's only one group of women that push that narrative. Just wanted to
Okay,
put
I'm
that
just
out
gonna
there.
say that
It's not modern women
I'm
because
not
modern women are not
traditional,
sitting here
and
talking about,
nobody that
oh,
I
I
know
need a man
pushes
to pay
that
my
narrative
bills.
because we all were.
Yeah, modern women are not talking about, oh, I need a man to pay my bills. Modern women are not doing that. We make our own fucking money. Like, we make our own money. We're looking
Wait,
for
what?
someone who is able to contribute to the bills. Like, if I'm going to marry someone, I'm just going to marry someone who's going to also be able to contribute financially to the household. I'm not going to marry someone just so that they could take care of me. But I also need to marry someone who, if at a certain point I cannot work because I am deciding to have a child, they also have to come up and they can't be 50-50 at that point. At the end of the day, because in a marriage, if you're going to have a family, the person who's sacrificing the most financially, this is statistically proven, is women. So when women want men to be able to like step up to the plate, it's not necessarily that they always gotta handle things. But once we decide to be mothers and we need to take time off and we need to, be the caretakers and the nurturers that y'all want us to be, y'all can't sit here and think that we're gonna be going 50-50. That's not unrealistic.
No,
It's
I want.
unrealistic.
I mean, I want. I personally, I don't have a problem with women being hypergamous, at all. But Mel, when you say that modern women are like not wanting men to like pay all the bills because they getting their own money, that is not true, Mel. That I would
That is,
if they really getting their own money,
sir.
if they really getting
I'm gonna
their
tell you
own
right
money.
now, I'm a modern woman. I'm a modern woman. All my friends are modern women. We do not look for men to take care of us. We modern, independent, non-traditional women are not looking for men to take care of us. We ourselves, we have our own careers, we have our own lives, we have our own passions, we have our own hobbies, right? We want to be, and this is not anecdotal. This is you could look up many surveys, many studies that show that more egalitarian relationships are modern relationships. Modern women want egalitarian relationships that if what however that egalitarianness looks, whoever can cover whatever in the household. If it's you covering the finances and me doing some of the domestic work, then fine, yes, sure. But if it's you covering some of the domestic work and me covering some of the finances, then yes. But it can't be we both covering the finances and I'm doing all the domestic labor. And that's a lot of the, I think that's a lot of the problems. A lot of men want more traditional women, but they can't have a traditional woman and they can't afford them. They can't afford a traditional woman. They need a woman to add to the finances, and then they expect them to still take on the vast majority of the domestic labor. And this is what's happening with a lot of women. This is why a lot of women are choosing not to get married. This is why a lot of women are choosing not to have children unless they are going to be in a partnership with a man who's going to be able to do not only add financially, but emotionally, physically, spiritually, and also not confine them to like these rigid gender roles that honestly do not serve us in 2023. They just
Yeah,
don't.
so